Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today on episode 327, I am very lucky, honored, privileged to have, Tatos on the podcast today. I'm not going to pronounce his family name just to save my
No,
embarrassment. Yeah.
no need, no need, Maria. Thank
No,
you.
no worries. Yeah, Tasso is a certified holistic coach. He helps support women executives take back control of their lives uh, with a heart coaching program. How are you today, sir?
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for your invitations, and I'm really honored and excited to be here with you. And let's dive in. To give some value to our listeners and see how we can unpack things today for them
Yeah.
together, the two of us.
Oh, I look forward to that. I look forward to that. I have to ask you, sir, 25 years, like working as a, like in big business, say, and yet you've changed to being a holistic coach. Why did you change, and what exactly is a holistic coach?
Yeah, why the change is it's an interesting question. It's a story. There's a story behind it,
Mm,
anyway. But mainly, too much stress, too much worries. For what's happening tomorrow, the day after. Being in the corporate world of
mm,
all these years, and at the same time, struggling and fighting with. Different personalities, different insecurities of people. How it is, and colleagues and bosses and it doesn't matter if it's men or women. It's more or less the same sometimes. So yes, I think I had enough. So this cycle, it was closed for me. This kind of hard corporate career, and I shifted, to holistic coaching the last few years, following a range of, let's say, personal events that led me to that. Not only emotional, psychological, but also spiritual events, that led me to this road. And we can discuss this if you want later. But holistic coaching, what holistic coaching is, just to answer your second question,
mm,
holistic coaching is basically the coaching, the real coaching that we support people and coaches, and in order to see their problems or the concerns or the challenges that they may have or the big goals that they may have and they want to succeed in, and the things that they want to achieve, but to see them through the prism of four different levels. The four different levels is the physical, it's the mental, it's the emotional, and the spiritual. So all this together through this prism, through these four levels of awareness, or if you can say the four levels of well-being, we manage to support our coaches and support our partners in this, in order to really find really the needle of the eye of the needle, if I can say the eye of the needle, right, on what they want to achieve, on what they want to do in their lives, on what they want to change, on what kind of challenge they want to overcome.
mm. Right. My God. Like that is, whew, how can I say, those four like areas, not easy ones to tackle because like yeah,
Mhm.
physical, mental, it's like no, just on the mental side alone, that must be like yes, one hell of a task to do, you know?
It is, of course. But you know what? All these are in all these four levels are working together and parallel at the same time, because it's not only mental. It's
Mm,
not only a challenge. It's not only mental. Usually, it's emotional, or it can be spiritual. Or it can be physical, because maybe our environment, apart from our body and our diet and our nutrition and everything, also our environment may not be supporting us, to really be the best version of ourselves. So this is the physical aspect. Physical is about us, it's about our body, about our nutrition, about our health, about our habits, our daily routine, about our environment, the office, our house, the way we spend our day. This is the physical aspect. But then the mental, as you are very well aware, is our thoughts, how we control our thoughts, how we understand our thoughts, how we take decisions, how we communicate to people, how we if we procrastinate, for example, or not, or if we are too if we're rushing too much sometimes, when we need to decide on something or need to do something. So this is the mental, meaning the mental aspect. Basically, is the control of the thoughts. It's about mindfulness and how we can really be present, how we can really be thoughtful and careful on, on managing and controlling our thoughts, and just not going from one side to the other, from, from once really getting confused or getting mixed up, with our thoughts.
Mm,
Then is the emotional, which is really how we feel about things, what we feel about things, where we feel this, the different emotions, in which organ of our body, in which part of our body we feel this. If we know how to interpret our emotions, if we know how to communicate our emotions, or not, if we have the power of saying no when we have to say no, and we always say yes, for example, right? What kind of feelings we have, or emotions we have around situations that causes maybe fear or anxiety or sadness or joy or happiness, anything which is extreme is unbalanced, basically. So we are trying to bring everything, on a more balanced level, which is provides us more stability, so that we have a much more clarity in order to be able to react on things, to take decisions, etc. And then, of course, the spiritual part, which is for some people, maybe they have not touched it at all. For some other people, it's very, very important, the spiritual aspect. And when we say spiritual, is, for example, the difficult questions, the difficult questions, like, for example, who am I?
mm.
What I want to achieve in this life, right? What is the legacy that I want to leave in this life when I will leave from this life, right?
Not today, I hope. Not today. Not right.
You never know.
Long.
I told you. I told you in the beginning. We are open to the unknown. So,
Yeah, like well.
yeah, as we say in Greece, no good, right? I have good here, so
Oh,
no good. But you never know.
yes.
We always have to be open, to the unknown. Anyway. So, and also other challenging spiritual questions could be, for example, what is my connection to the nature? How do I feel when I'm outside in the nature? Am I relaxing? Am I not relaxing? Am I thinking differently? Am I feeling differently? For example, or other questions like what makes me happy in the end?
Mm,
What makes me happy from this life that I do every day, my routine, or the objectives, the goals that I have, or the dreams that I have and I want to achieve.
I see. Now I have to ask them because, like, this is the thing that any great coach, especially especially getting into this field, has has to have asked those questions of themselves on more than one occasion. Like,
Yes.
what would you say was the most sort of challenging question on your road of discovery you had to ask yourself?
No, for me, the challenge, it was. That's why I told you this is what helped me also to switch
Mm,
from the corporate career and the corporate environment to a holistic coaching space, in order to be able to support people and provide value and be of service to people. So these challenging question for me is really, what can I offer? What can I offer to the world? Right? And when and how, of course, because first you start with what, and then you continue with when and how you do that, right? So once you starting having these feelings and these thoughts and these emotions, that you wake up in the morning, and I will talk very practically. You wake up in the morning and you say, okay, should I go to this job? Should I do this thing that I'm doing? Am I happy there or not? When you start feeling having negative replies on these questions, then it means that it's time to change.
mm,
It's time to shift. So this is what happened to me, and then I started saying to myself, no, I know I can offer something. I know I can help people. I know I have a lot of knowledge. I know I have a type of life for myself that can be communicated and transmitted and can be valuable to other people. So this is why I think coaching for me came in the end very naturally. It took years, of course, right? I was not. I was not thinking the same thing when I was 25 years old. Not even 35 years old. It came when I was 45 years old. Slowly, slowly.
Nonsense. 45. He's a coach and a liar, people. A coach and a liar. There you go. No, because this is the thing with what you just said there. I find many people who wish or desire to change who find themselves trapped in that sort of situation. It's They know they want to change, and in some regards, if they were pushed, it will make that leap of that change easier. But sort of getting out of that sort of the familiar, not the comfort zone, but the familiar of the sort of day to day, like they find it incredibly hard to get out of that because they kind of are institutionalized in that sort of mode of life. And breaking that breaking that mindset is a tall order. Like, I don't know how many people you like. What is the sort of first line you go to saying to someone? So like, oh, okay, you can make a change, you can make a difference. I don't know. How do you get people to tackle that?
Yes, but look, the people, in order to get to able to begin such conversation, begin such discussion, they need to be by themselves. They need to start feeling that they need to change, that they want to change. If they don't feel that, because as you said very nicely, they are institutionalized and they're in their prison, their mind prison, there. Even if you go and you tell them and you shake them like this and you say, "Look, you need to wake up," they will not, because they will say, "Oh, I'm comfortable here, I feel nice, this is my environment, this is where I used to live, and this is where I used to grow up, and these are all my friends here and my relatives and my family, everyone is here, I grew up in this place, I'm going to die in this place." Fine, no problem at all. If they're happy with this, fine, right? But 90% of the people, they realize at some point in their life that they need to change, they need to do something different. There's maybe a higher calling for some people also, on more spiritual level. There's a more higher calling that it pushes them slowly, to realize that yes, I can do something different, I can offer something different to the people, to the world. So once they start having this kind of, let's say, trigger,
Mm.
this kind of ignition, if I can say, within themselves, within their body, then the coach will show up.
The coach
It's
was.
like it's like you're saying, when the student, what the Chinese are saying, the Asian populations, and especially the Chinese, when the student is ready, the master will show up. So
Yeah.
it's very same thing. It's exactly the same thing for the people and their conditions in their life. The master, it doesn't the master, it can be a coach, it can be a husband, it can be a wife, it can be an uncle, an older person, it can be a partner in their business, anyone, right? I'm not saying just a coach is a coach because I'm a coach, right?
No, no,
It's-
no. I don't know how that would benefit you in any way.
yeah, but I never meant that. It's really, I'm just saying that whenever you're open to change, the right opportunities will come, and the right persons, the right people will come in your life.
Mm. When you're open to change, the right people will come into your life. Right. I hear that, and like this is the thing. It sounds a little bit. How can I say? A bit like The Secret, if you get what I mean. Do you know that book, The Secret? You manifest things, and they
Yes,
come.
yes, yes.
Yeah, like it feels a bit like that. But like this is the thing. There are people I've seen out there who want to change. They like, you know what I mean. They do everything in. They seem to do everything in their power to change, but yet they never sort of that spark you talk about, the ignition, never seems to like hit the engine right, and it just doesn't go anywhere. Like,
What do you think it's missing, if I may ask you?
now, maybe a focus point. That could be one of the things.
Yes.
Is it, if it's not the focus point, I would say yeah, focus point from primarily, blah, 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 primarily, and yeah, no, not so. Yeah, no, focus.
I
First,
like what you say. I like what you're saying, and if I may add a little bit on that, right?
yeah.
The Americans, and especially the big coaches in the U.S., right? The big coaches, the real coaches in the U.S. I'm still far away from there,
I,
right? But I will reach there day by day.
oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Yes,
Yeah.
the saying where focus goes, energy flows,
Ah.
right? So this you are exactly on spot when you're saying about focus. So one thing is about the focus that a lot of people are missing, but why they're missing the focus? Because they lose the importance. We have to understand and be 100% sure what is really the most important thing for us in our life, and then we give the focus. Then we focus. So we need to do this exercise between with our minds and our hearts, right? What is the most important thing in my life? Is it my family? Fair enough, my family. Is it myself only and my career, my professional career? Fine, this is my professional career. I need to focus there 100% of my time. Is it my health? It's my health. Is it my nutrition? It's my nutrition. Whatever this is, it just needs to be crystal clear that is the number one most important thing so that we can really focus 100% of our efforts and our energy. And then we can make the change. Then we can succeed.
Mm. Now, hmm, focus, energy. Now, this is the thing. Like when you've like encountered people where okay, that focus is there and the energy's flowing. Like, would you say that is one of the major stages to get started, or what other like things would you say can get help people get started on the right path?
First of all, they need to have this hunger. They need to have this hunger, this appetite, to do things, to change things, to do something different in their life. So this is where it all starts. Then the focus and the energy goes there. And as I told you, once they understand that this is very important for them, then the focus and the energy goes there. Then there are a lot of things that they may be necessary or not necessary, but maybe required, let's say, for some people in order to support them in this journey. It could be people, loved people around them, and a support network that can really encourage them, to continue with this journey. Because usually, as you may know, when we want to do some big change in our lives, we receive a lot of resistance also from our network, from
Mm,
our social network, our friends, our family, our relatives, and all that, because maybe these people cannot understand what we want to achieve and what we want to change. And because the mindset is different, they are working in a different frequency, vibrational frequency, in their lives, then they put resistance against us.
mm,
So in this journey, we need to have some kind of support. You can call it again a partner. You can call it a loved one. You can call him a coach, whatever it is, right? Because this support will give us more encouragement and more empowerment to really continue this journey and not give up. Because things does not happen overnight. It needs some time, right? You need maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, maybe 10 years to change.
mm.
So you need to have this kind of encouragement, this kind of empowerment from your close environment, at least.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I often find when it comes to people's like friendships, family, their support networks, it comes from a few places. Fear and envy come to mind. With
Yes,
oh
strong,
yeah,
huge.
and because like yeah, they are fit. Like you get many a person who's fearful for a path you might be going down, which is not being trodden by anyone they know, and they don't want you to get hurt and they don't want you to basically fail, so they want to wrap you up in cotton wool and just like yes, you stay with the same, be the same person, stay that way.
Yes,
And I believe
yes. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
no, you can't, no, please. uh,
No, I just crossed my mind that, of course, many people from our network, they come from a space of love.
Mm,
right? So they come from a space of love because they care about us. They don't, as you said nicely, they don't want in us to get hurt or fail or disappointed and all that, right? But they do that given taking into consideration what they know so far and what are their perceptions and what are their beliefs. And sometimes these beliefs may be very, very limiting beliefs for them, right? But for us, it may be different. So if we are sure that this is our journey and this is our path, we can get the advice from everyone, but
mm.
we should be the ones finally deciding our lives and our path.
No, I hear you. And the only reason why I didn't say like introduce the word love is because when like your network does that, it's killing what potential you might have at like your full
Of course.
potential. Because if you succeed or if you fail, like if you succeed, great. You know there is like you move on to some like sort of greater level. If you fail, you know there's the truth of it. That was not the sort of avenue or path you should be going down because it's just the way it is, and you can now seek out a new path. At least you're not sitting there like going, should have, would have, could have. I should have done this. I could have done that. I would have done this,
Exactly.
and takes away that realm of doubt. Like finding like people who are not so much like-minded but who have that sort of drive and sort of passion to do whatever they're doing in their lives so you can join that group, have that support, is a very tricky thing to do, I would say, in this day and age. Even like because with whatever endeavor you might be wanting to do, you like it's easy to have connections all over the world, but
Hmm.
when you're in the sort of trenches day in, day out, plug for the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, you go. Like you need someone who's like shoulder to shoulder with you while you're taking on whatever task you are. And I find if you've got someone across like miles away or not even the same, like you might be in the same country, but you don't have that physical connection, it's trickier. I could be wrong. You might be able to enlighten me to like a easier way I might not be seeing.
No, I think this is just a matter then of selection. It's
Mm,
just a matter of choice. I mean, just a matter of choice because, as you said, this person, it doesn't have to be in the other part of the world to slow you down or not to communicate the same way. It can be within your own house,
mm,
right? And on the other hand, another person which is thousands of miles away, you can be so close in terms of your mindset, in terms of the way you feel and you think and you behave, that you find these partner. You need to be the most important partner of yours in your journey. So for me, distance is very relevant, and it's not really the important thing. The distance, especially nowadays, right? But I understand you and I hear you 100%. That is not easy and it's very challenging. But then my question is, how many of these people do you really need?
2 to 3.
Exactly. So how tough is to find two or three people maximum? Maybe sometimes only one
Yeah.
that can be your companion in this journey.
Mm. And like this is the thing, I would say it should be a lot easier than what some people will experience because
Correct.
yeah, okay, I think I have an idea the reason why sometimes it's harder to find uh like these allies which are waiting out there for many a person. It's because like one of the things when you're younger, like in your sort of like I'm not talk when I mean younger, I mean like in your when you're about 10 into your teenage years, even into your early 20s, it's you're far more open to let other people into your life than as you get into your mid 20s upwards. It just get and as you move each decade away, it gets harder to sort of like let people in or help grow that sort of network because everyone goes, I'm building my network of people, but it's all superficial, not sort of wild, cool, real. You know?
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. You are perfectly right on that. It's getting harder and harder while we grow up. It's getting harder and harder, to really find these unique people that can stand next to you,
Mm,
and really support you. Yes, but again, I'm a strong believer that you don't need more than one or two anyway.
mhm.
So out of 8 billion people on the planet, I'm sure I'm sure we can find one or two people to stand next to us, besides us, right?
Yeah, no, like I have to ask, who was your one or two people who stood by
Of course, my wife.
wife?
My wife is number one. Yes, and I'm not saying that politically. I'm not saying that politically. I really mean it.
She's in the next room. Be careful, my friend.
No, I really mean it, and that's why we're together for since like I was 15, right? And I was 15 and 16 years old, and she was only 14, right? And we are happily married. We have two kids, and we've been together now for almost 40 years, right? So I'm 53 now, so. You see, so for sure, and then I have some very, very close friends, few that, as you said very nicely, they start when in my teenage years
Mm,
up to my university years, like 20, 22 years old, right? Which I still keep very, very close to my heart. Even if we are far away, we know that there is love between us. We know that there is full support. We know that there is openness, that we can share, anything that comes into our minds, all our feelings and everything. And this is a huge, and I'm grateful for that, right? And this is a huge, how can I say, relief sentiment, a relief emotion, when you know that you have these people next to you, even if I don't see them every day or every week or every 2 3 months, maybe I see them once a year, right? But still, they are so close in my heart that really give me and provide me this a strong feeling of support, basically, right? And pleasure and joy, that I'm blessed to have this kind of people around me.
no, you know what? I there are many a person who would be quite envious of what how you say that, because look, there is like when you've got a great relationship, good friends around you, it makes things easier. Like one of the reasons why it comes to mind right now, there you may have heard and seen reports of there is a loneliness epidemic going on in this world today. And like, yeah, this is
Hmm.
the reason why I always like not so much hung up, but I am curious about getting those up, like getting finding those people, those one or two people to make help make that difference in one's life. Uh, there are not many people which are blessed like yourself, and I'm talking like totally contradicts what I said about the younger ages who are coming through in this sort of Gen Z crop who are now into the workplace and really are struggling, both like women and men. If you go what I mean, like
Yeah, yeah, true, true, true. It's getting tougher and tougher
mm,
nowadays, especially because of the use of the screens, and the use of the devices, of all the devices and the social media and everything, that we are spending hours and hours in front of the screens ourselves. So we become more lonely. For sure, the population is becoming lonely and more lonely, and we're not opening up. Instead of going out, instead of enjoying the weather outside, in the countryside, instead of enjoying the nature,
mm,
and all this that this planet has to offer us, we are staying inside our offices, or inside our rooms, or watching TV, and different kind of use of devices, or even substances, right? So then it gets even worse.
yeah, no, no, like I hear you, I hear you, like so with so with this in mind, like are you finding you're getting more younger people seeking out your services, or is it like people around your age, or like or is it?
My I will tell you my core, my let's say my core group of clients
Mm,
is women, is
yes.
women, because of my experience in the corporate world, and because I don't know, out of an instinct or a talent, I don't know how you want to call it, I had the possibility to always be there for women that were coming to me and they were sharing with me their problems, their concerns, their challenges, their emotions, and all that. And I was always there for them to listen, to give back some advice, even if I did, even sometimes you don't give advice. Still, by having an active listening and a good ear, it's already enough sometimes for a lot of people, right? So,
Mm,
and this is, I think, something that I was receiving also always as a compliment, and so always as something very positive for me, that it got more, let's say, um, more elaborated now with through my coaching practice and through my coaching education, certification, etc. So I developed the skill even better, even in a higher level. So my core client group is women at the ages of 30, 35 plus, up to maybe 55, 50, 55, 60, 60 years old, and especially when they are working in a male dominated environment, professionally, and they want to achieve both in their careers and also want to have a beautiful and balanced and family life. And this is the big challenge for women, how to be both professionally successful and at the same time have a balanced and beautiful and happy family and personal life.
mm.
This is the big challenge.
Yeah, no, like this is the thing. Whew, like when balance, when it comes to like, look, if you, if I had this conversation with you 5 years ago, like before my little one came into the world and stuff like this, well, no, not even 5 years. If you had this conversation 3 years ago, I would have been like, okay, yeah, women, work, balance, like family. It, yeah, you can practically have it all. Yeah, but I've noticed with like my little one, like she will be like, yeah, when she's on the I want mother, mummy train, it is like one of those things where there is nothing you can do about it, and it's incredibly tough sometimes when my lady has to like leave her, like to go off to work, and because it's like, yes, mummy, 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 uh like to try, like, and that's just my lady. I don't know the sort of like the vast array of other ladies, how they feel on a sort of day-to-day basis, if they're trying to hold down being a family, like being a mother to, like, I don't know, one child, two children, three children,
Mhm.
or and then trying to hold down, like, yeah, like the sort of corporate lifestyle. It is tough, to say the least.
It's very tough.
Yeah.
It's very tough, and unfortunately, us as men, we cannot really realize this, the challenge that women go through, right? Because it's one thing if it's one thing if a woman wants to have, let's say, just a job,
Mm,
which is like just a 9 to 5 job, and it's a different thing at the same time when they want to have a career, when they want to have a promotion, when they want to achieve things for themselves, when they are really ambitious, to step up,
mm.
in the professional space. So it really of course depends, from case to case. But I think the let's say the challenge is the same for most of the women, because when they are younger, they don't have family, maybe it's easier for them. But when they start thinking about having a family and having kids, and at the same time having a career, it gets very difficult. Because what can they choose? They can choose the career, themselves, taking care of themselves, or
Mm.
taking care of the family and the husband, and the grandparents and the social activities of the kids and the family vacation, the family holidays, and everything. You imagine, right? So
Yeah.
it's huge.
No, because like this is the thing. Like, I know you predominantly deal with women, because when you put that shoe onto the man's like foot, like if they're working all the hours God sends just to, like, you know what I mean? make sure that money's coming in, that security's coming in, not just from that, like doing overtime here and overtime there, and like if they're doing like a highly sort of career focused job, they can't have that. I find it very hard to even look at and go, yeah, it's it's all about balance. Try to obtain as much balance as you can, but it's always going to be, you've always got to give something up to like,
Yeah, that's why we come back to the question, what is more important for me?
mm,
Right, we have to come back to this question in order to be able to really prioritize, right? Because if a woman says, no, my career is my number one goal, is the most important thing for me, and I don't care now for a family or getting married, fine, that's a decision, right, she can have. But the same woman 5 years after, then she has to take these tough calls and this tough decision, and really, what is the most important then? My career, myself, mentally and emotionally and psychologically and everything, or my family? And how I can balance all these three, so at least I have the mental health, and I have the emotional support and the emotional empowerment that I need in order to be able to succeed in what I want to succeed.
it must it must be one of those things with regards to what you do on a daily basis. Like it must be very difficult in some regards because you're making people like like put up that mirror to themselves, and like basically the mirror of truth. And like because like the mirror of truth, you can see wonderful things, beautiful things, and everything looks great, but the truth is never like, truly is not a beautiful thing. At times it can be, yeah, quite twisted and ugly, and like people might not like what they see. Like how do you manage to like, how do you, one, how do you manage that as a coach if someone's come to a ugly realization, and two, how do you help people navigate that ugly like realization?
Look, the 50% of the job is done by each coachee, right, and each person.
Hmm.
Because again, coming back to what we discussed in the beginning, if they're not ready to change, if they're not ready to change things in their life,
Mm.
to change mindset, to do some take some tough decisions, and decide on some tough choices that they need to make, they will never change. It's not a matter of the coach then, in that case. How I navigate is that I try to, as you said, to be their mirror, right? But their mirror of their soul, their mirror of their heart, not their mirror of their mind, because this is the mind. These are most of the time we're talking about mind games and
Hmm.
mind traps. We are trapped in our mind and in our thoughts, right? So we need to look beyond our mind. We need to look in the mirror of our soul, in the mirror of our heart, to really see the truth. So when you start switching this perspective and trying to really change this perspective from the mirror of the mind to the mirror of the soul or the mirror of the heart,
Hmm.
then they start realizing that, oops, yes, I need to do something different. Oh, yes, yes, I'm not going in the right path. If I continue like this, I will end up with mental health issues, right? If I continue like this, I will end up with health issues, right? Physically, right? If I continue like this, I may break up and destroy my family, for example. So then they start realizing where they're heading, and slowly, slowly, when they start realizing this and they see the danger coming a little bit closer, then they are ready to change.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Like, hopefully, there are people, you know what I mean?
Hopefully, what do you mean? Hopefully, hopefully they will change, or hopefully they will realize, or what?
Like, it's, this is the thing. Like, hopefully, they'll realize they need to change. Hopefully, they'll realize their responsibility ultimately is in their hands. It's their responsibility, no one else's.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, look, bad things can happen and things out of control can happen to us on a daily basis. How we react, what responsibility we take at that precise moment of time dictates. if we come out of it in a rough manner, or like, yeah, standing strong. And
Yes.
don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you must stand strong all the time, because sometimes there's times when shit just goes down, which will literally wreck you. And yeah, like no matter how much you got to take responsibility of this. It will just, life has a way of just bringing people to its knees, regardless. But for the sort of small, like for the, it might no for the small stuff, the trivial stuff, which I think too many people get hung up on, which is holding them back. Taking responsibility for one's life, saying this is like, looking at them, taking that hard long look and going, okay, yeah, I can fix this, that, the other. I'm not ready to move on with this. But responsibility, control, I think, yes, by all means, there, it's all there for them. I could be wrong, but you know what I mean.
No, you're not. You're not wrong at all. This is about the responsibility, yes, because a coach can be there only as an accountability partner, and sometimes not even necessary to be there. But we play this role as coaches, right? Because when you start realizing, when a client, a coachee starts realizing that, as you said, the responsibility is in their own hands, and they have to take these calls at given times, then we can stand there next to them as accountability partners along their way, along their journey in order to make this transformation, right? And of course, as you said, resilience is very, very important. But of course, life will bring us some difficult and challenging situations in our lives, so for sure, for sure. But then it's a matter of resilience. It's a matter of how strong people they can be inside internally, or how they can react, as you said, to situations. What's their support network, and all this. That can be different from each person. But yes, the responsibility should be there. There is a very nice, interesting word. It's a very bit difficult in English. I don't know if I will pronounce it well. It's called conscientiousness. Conscientiousness, right?
Yes,
You see,
yeah,
right? This is why I'm saying that. Why I'm saying that, because in Greek language, I'm Greek, as you know, right? So in Greek language, we have this word which we use it very often in Greek, right? And it means exactly this. It means being responsible
mhm,
for your action, being disciplined for your action, being accountable for your promises when you promise to someone, to ourselves, first of all, and
mm,
then when we promise also to other people, to be there and being conscientious that we can deliver, that we will keep up our promises, that we will be disciplined, that we will be thoughtful. It's a very, very beautiful word in Greek, and it's very beautiful word, I think, in English as well. Also, although a bit complicated, a bit difficult, but yes, I mean, if we think this way, a lot of times in our lives when we need to take decisions, then this can be a lighting path, a beacon for ourselves, to think in this way.
mm. Yeah, like I think with a lot of people out there, how can I say, they like, yeah, a number of people are lost out there, and trying to find that sort of beacon, find that path is ever so difficult. And it's just, I think what sometimes happens, they get distracted by what everyone else says should be the path from them. It's like going, okay, oh, you're on this path. Yes, it's all about getting that money. It's all about getting that car. It's all about traveling here. It's
Yes.
all about doing this, that, a myriad
Yeah.
of things. When like they have not actually sort of sat down and, which you like, and looked into the mirror of truth and gone, hey, what is the like, as this is reinforcing what you said, what is the most important thing? Where do I want to go? What do I want to achieve? How do I want to do it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly, exactly. This happens from the time that we are born, right? We are born, and then we grow up, and then our mothers and our fathers are like, our parents are like, oh, you have to be a doctor, or you have to be a lawyer, or you have to go to the military, to the army to have the, the credentials and all of these, right? So that the society can respect you and all that. Why do I need to be a lawyer or a doctor, for the society to respect me?
Mm,
Why?
yeah. No, but with regards to some like people, they're putting their dreams and aspirations onto yourself rather than like
Yes, this is
yeah,
what I mean. Yeah, it's
yeah.
coming from there. Yeah, of course. This is the source. This is the source because they were not able to manage for whatever reason, not because they were not capable,
Mm,
because they did not have the conditions, maybe they don't have the finances, maybe they were not lucky in their lives, maybe they did not have the means because 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, it was things were different, right? Yeah, so they try to impose sometimes gently, sometimes more harsh, more harsh, their own aspirations and whatever they did not manage to achieve,
uh,
right? Or what their parents were telling to them,
yeah.
also, right? It could go even further.
Um, Tassos, I a vision of you back in Greece, coming home one day from school, like yeah, your like mother and like father just like sit down, let's talk. like going,
Yeah, of course. I went through this. I went through this, but I have to tell you the opposite as well, right? Because I lost my father when I was 1 year old,
ah,
right? So my mother never got remarried or in any relationship. So we grew up with my mother and my sister and myself. And my mother was not really an educated person, but she was very smart. So she was very street smart, but not really an educated person, right? So she wanted the best for us. So she tried to support us to go to the university, and all that, and we so far so good, right? We are very happy and very grateful and generous and very very grateful for this. But yes, of course, these conversations were there. Yeah, try to go, try to be a doctor, try to be this, try to be that. But what to do? I know what to do. It's okay. I mean,
put
I learned sometimes, to come from one ear and go out from the
that,
other, as we say.
stop that, put down that school book, pick up that medical book, engineer, so start to read. Okay,
Exactly.
love it, love it. Now, I have to ask, like with the lady clients you have, like asking for your coaching, like have you found there's been like sort of one common theme, and like where like what
Yes, I
like
can tell you. I can tell you immediately. One common thing:
okay,
personal boundaries and how to say no.
personal boundaries, how to say no.
Actually, I'm running a workshop in the end of March, specifically for this subject. The power of saying no and how to communicate your boundaries assertively and how to be, communicate confidently and how to be able to manage basically your emotions and your boundaries within every kind of relationship, either a professional relationship or a personal relationship at home. This is really 80% of my coaches. In the end, it's about boundaries. It's
Okay,
about how to manage your boundaries.
right. And like this is the thing. Okay, manage your boundaries is quite broad. What is there is like like specific boundaries they're talking about?
Of course, the boundaries are physical, there are emotional boundaries, there are energetic boundaries, there are different boundaries. There are financial boundaries, social boundaries, so but all it depends. Sometimes, in some of our relationships, for example, maybe with our family, within our family,
Mm,
we have some boundaries that are a bit more loosened, let's say, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more loosened because it's our loved ones, and we can manage situation. We compromise sometimes, we request other times, so we can manage. But in the professional arena, then it gets harder, right? Because when we have a boss or a colleague that starts intruding in our boundaries and starts claiming, requesting things that's beyond our capabilities or beyond our comfort zone or beyond our safety,
mm,
even our safety, right? Psychological safety or even physical safety in
mhm.
some case, then the situation can get hard. So then we need to really to be able to communicate our boundaries there in a proper way, so that we manage the relationship, we manage the expectation, right? And we can have a professional and healthy relationship in the end. Otherwise, we can destroy everything, and or we can destroy ourselves first of all in the end if we don't know how to manage these boundaries.
I would imagine, like, yes, basically, people will generally put themselves through wreck and ruin before, like, if they don't, well, if it comes down to a work thing of, like, yes, can you do this overtime? Well, no, I've got to take my kid. No, no, I need
Yeah,
this person to,
yeah,
like, someone to do
because
that.
exactly, because people again they don't understand again what is urgent, what is important. So maybe we have a crazy boss or a crazy colleague, and all of a sudden, as you said, Friday afternoon, at 5 o'clock in the evening, we are ready to go, for the weekend, and they say, "Oh, you know what? This is urgent, and we have to do this project, and we have to deliver this project to the CEO. I don't know what on a Sunday evening at 8 p.m."
Yeah.
during the weekend, basically, right? And you're just wondering, are you crazy now or what? It's like he can wait until Monday morning. It's okay, right? Why he wants it on Sunday 8 p.m.
Oh no! Like, you want to know why? Because yes, they always want it at a time when, like, yes, yeah, I forgot to do this. Here we go. Have this nice little
Yeah.
present. Off you go. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the fault also of the people. It's maybe the fault of other people because they don't know how to manage the
mm,
relationship themselves, and then they put pressure on other people. These people, the intermediates, let's say, our managers, let's say,
yeah,
they don't know how to manage their boundaries, and for whatever reason, for insecurities or for lack of power of talking back to the CEO or whatever, in a proper way and all this, they put all the pressure then to us, down to us,
mm,
and then it comes to us, to be able to manage the situation. So this is very big. The boundaries is very big issue in our lives, for both women and men. Not only for women, both women and men.
yeah. I think sometimes it's a case of, if you can help the person who's imposing or, like, breaching those boundaries, if you can get them to see beyond the end of their nose, because that's what I find many a person can't possibly do. It's like, yes, this is my life and this is my world, and it's like, okay, if you look beyond the end of your nose, you might be able to
Mm.
see a situation, or, like, some things you're doing, what might be affecting people in a negative manner. Often when people,
Yeah, of course, of course, of course. And if there is a lack of empathy, then it gets even worse.
mm,
Right, because basically this is what you're describing, right? The end of my nose is basically when I'm lacking completely empathy
yeah,
for the rest of the people. So when I lack this quality, then it's even more difficult, to be able to manage this. So
mm,
that's why the one that is receiving this kind of reaction, or this kind of statement, or this kind of behavior, or this kind of communication, whatever, this person needs to be really, really clear on his boundaries or her boundaries in order to be able to manage that. And of course, not overnight, but gradually and slowly and disciplined, you can achieve that, because then the other person will understand slowly, slowly, that this is your boundaries, and this is and you do it out of respect, and you do it out of love, and you do it out of companionship and everything. You don't do it because you don't like the person. It's You do it because you want to be mentally healthy first of all, right, and be able to be productive and efficient and effective in your job, so that then everyone can profit from this, and everyone can get the benefit.
yeah. Like, this is the thing. The other thing, like, the word no, it's one of the easiest words to say, and it's also one of the hardest words to say.
Yeah,
How do
I
you,
hear you.
hey, look, trust me, look, my daytime job, I work in the realm of sales. I hear no
Oof.
a lot.
Okay.
It's like, I hear
That's
no.
easy. It's very easy to hear that, Rez.
No, it still hurts, man. It still hurts. But that's
uh,
enough of my psychological things. But yeah, being able to get someone to say no at the right time for them, how, like, that is sometimes a very tall order. How, like, to get them to say, like, be able to, well, feel empowered to say that word. Like, what would you like if someone's like, yeah, they're going to your workshop, like, I don't want you to sort of give away, like, the, like, sell the cow without, like, no one, like, passing without any shekels. But yeah, what would you say is one or two things they could arm themselves with to be like, okay, you know what? Let me have a little bit more confidence to be able to say no.
Yeah, you just replied. You said confidence.
Ah,
Yeah, so confidence is number one quality there. You need to have the confidence in yourself, right? To communicate, to say no in the proper way. The way needs to be assertive. It needs to be in the right timing, right? Because if everyone is upset, for example, for whatever reason, and there is some tension in the space, in the office, whatever, and then you choose this timing to say no, then you make it worse. Usually it goes worse. So the situation is not beneficial there. So you have to choose the right timing in order to communicate that. So you have to choose your battle and you have to choose the right timing to do that and say no. Then of course you need to be confident. Then you need your tone to be assertive, to be looking in the eyes, of the other person, to be really calm without any high tension or anything, very calm, and always you have to speak with the first person. You have to speak with the first person. I feel that this is hurting me. I feel that this situation is not in my benefit at this moment of time, for example.
mm,
I would prefer if we can discuss this tomorrow. I would prefer if we can discuss this, or I'm not feeling comfortable with your question or with your request, right? I would prefer that you stop doing that. So it's mainly you refer to I first person instead of saying, oh, what are you talking about now? This is impossible to do. You're saying nonsense, for example. You cannot communicate like this.
mm.
So you have to say, I don't feel comfortable with what is discussed right now. Can we discuss it tomorrow? Or can we see another way? Can we see it different perspective? Can we explore more options? Can we find another solution? So there are ways.
Ah, tact and diplomacy. Tact and diplomacy. Like the best words. Ah, oh, brilliant. Liking that. Now, I have to ask. Now, you, sir, are a man of many talents, and, like, yes, I'm sure, like, yeah, you have quite a year planned out for you. What would you like to achieve over the, say, the next 3 years for yourself or for your client?
For myself, I will tell you in one phrase, because it's very clear for me, right? I want to have in 1 year from now, not in 3 years from now, in
Mm,
1 year from now, I want to have the time freedom and the space freedom, right? To be able to coach at least 100 people within 2024.
100 people. Space,
Yes.
like,
The
time
time freedom and the space freedom,
to
which
cope.
means that I can do it in my terms whenever I want. I can do it from wherever I want, from wherever I am, or wherever my family is, you know, right? And I want to have a very specific target of coaches and people that I can be of service, that I can offer my value, within 2024. So in less than a year, basically.
Mm. So I have to ask, like, what number are you on currently?
No, I start from zero now on purpose. New. I'm talking about new. Doesn't matter how many I have now. Doesn't
Okay.
matter how many. I don't count this.
Ah,
So I start from zero because I'm giving a challenge to myself, right? I have to be tough with myself.
interesting. Because, okay, so 100 within the next, 10 months.
10 months, let's say, yeah. Minus 1 month, half a month for holidays.
And you want
10 months.
to, oh my Lord. So, with regards to 2023, how many people were you coaching in 2023?
In
Just
2023, no, I mean
yeah.
regular coaches. I had around 20, but then I had also workshops and webinars and group coaching with more people, right? So overall, maybe I had like 50 or 60 people coaching from time to time within the year. So I know that it's not so. I mean, it is challenging, but I don't say that it's that challenging in the end. So I think it's a realistic goal. It's a smart goal. It's a smart goal. It's like specific. It's realistic. It's measurable. It's actionable. It's relevant. So, and it's time bounded. So I'm very very focused on that.
No, I see you. I see you with your little smart target there. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So
No,
this is what I want to achieve. And in terms of my clients, it's the same thing basically. To offer my service, to be of value, to be really make an impact in their lives, to have them positive impact for them. If I can change out of 100 people, if I can change 50 of them for better,
mhm,
right, for better, and they are happy to work with me, and they're happy to share, with their friends and with their network, and say, communicate, not for to bring me clients necessarily. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying to be happy that, yes, I've worked with Tassos, and Tassos managed to help me change my life, or help me in something very very positive in my life. Then I'm more than happy.
like it a lot. Now, yeah, because okay, had if you trained 50, 60 people last year, my mind, like
Yes.
getting that extra jump of 40 people, it's 40 to 50 people.
Yeah.
It's not that well, I'm not going to say it's not that hard, but it's not a huge jump if you get what I mean. It just comes down to like, yeah, one or two
Yes.
like tweaks here and there, and you can make it happen.
If you see it as a double, it's more. It sounds big. It sounds big, right? But if you see it as an actual number, as you said, 40 or 50 more, it doesn't sound that big.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, many people get caught up with making the big move. I must do the big move to make big things happen. Like
Yeah.
the thing, like to build a house, it takes thousands and thousands of bricks. You just don't
Of course.
dump a house there. It's like, yeah, thousands of bricks. You take enough, like you put enough bricks down, you have your house. Take enough
Exactly.
away, you don't have a house. But yeah, it's never just one big thing. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So with like with this year planned out and yeah, aiming for success. Now, what would like I have to ask before you go, like who do you look at and go, that is a brilliant coach? Which coach do you see out there who inspires
Oh,
you?
I follow a lot Tony Robbins in the US.
Mhm.
I follow Dan Graziosi. I follow Simonek. I think it's his name. Yes,
Simon Sinek.
I yes, Sinek. Yes, I follow. Um, Robin Sharma. So I follow a quite, let's say, top level, the highest level of coaches from time to time. Either I participate in their webinars,
Hmm.
sometimes free, sometimes I pay also, right? Because it's for me it's like mentors, right? So I see them as mentors, as my mentors. I see them as opening up even more my perspective and even more my coaching abilities, right? So I learn a lot. Or I read for Robin Sharma, for example. I've read a couple of his books. So it depends on my time availability and what kind of priorities I give to the specific slots I have, during the week, during the month, during the year.
Ah, okay. No, because yeah, Simon Sinek, I do like him a lot. Because yes, his
He's
book.
good in the leadership space. He's very strong. He's very well educated. He's very well experienced. So it's good. It's always I'm always I also follow the Sadhguru. Sadhguru, the Indian philosopher. It's not a coach really, but he's a yogi philosopher.
Oh, I think I've seen. I think I know who you're talking about. Big white beard and like, yeah,
Yes,
yes,
exactly. And
yeah.
some dark black glasses sometimes, with yeah, he's cool. He's cool. He's very well educated, very well educated, and very very wise person. Very wise.
Brilliant. Like, do you think you'll write a book sometime in the future? If not already.
Actually, thank you for this question. Like, actually, I'm writing right now, not a full book. I'm writing a chapter about my story and my transition from the corporate to the holistic coaching,
Hmm.
and about my heart coaching methodology, because I found it and I have developed this heart coaching methodology, right? So it's going to be a chapter in a co-author's book that hopefully in the next 2 months will be in Amazon.
Okay. Wow. Like this is the thing. I can foresee in about 5 years' time, maybe less, that you'll do a whole book, not just like one chapter, for sure.
Thank you, appreciate it. Why not? I wish. Why not?
Ah, wish, never wish. Do, sir. Do.
Do,
Hey,
yeah.
brilliant,
But
brilliant.
as you see, I do the steps one by one, right? So
I look forward to seeing many of those steps. Like
appreciate
that's
it.
other. Thank you for coming on today. I have no more questions at this
Thank
present.
you.
All right. I'm glad to have you on. Can you tell the people out there how they can find you out on these interwebs, on the internet? There you go.
Yes, sure, sure. Yeah, thank you. I have my website, which is my name, which is Tassos Kotzias. This would be TASSOSKOTZIAS.com, right? And of course, they can find me in also social media, in LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and I will be happy to offer, also a free consultation to any of your listeners, right? And I have also the workshop in the end of March. So anyone that would be interested, I would be happy to share more information. And I would be happy to invite you as well if you are willing, to come. I'll be happy to extend an invitation to you, and then you can pass also one or two invitations to your listeners, which may be interested. I think it would be very helpful.
Oh, you see, you never know. You might find me there. We shall see. It'll be my honor if I can make it. Yeah, I will be there. Oh, brilliant! I will put all of this information into the show notes, into the description, so you can find Tassos. Go join his webinar at the end of the month, and yeah, get in contact with him and get that free web that consultation as well. See, getting a little bit tongue tied. It's been a long day. I've been talking to lots of people, but yes. Brilliant, brilliant, Tassos. Thank you for coming on. And I'd like to say thank you to you, my friends, my life warriors, for sticking with us to the end of the show. Please stay well, stay safe, be awesome, be excellent, be fantastic. Be all the positive bees you can be in this world and then some. Have a great day, guys. Yes. Peace. And we are, oh yeah, we